Hi and welcome to the ThruNite channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about the brand new ThruNite Defender. And we're going to be comparing this to some similar lights on the table here. The first one is a Workhos branded light. This is the HD01 UV model. Next to that we have the Olight. This is the Arcfeld. And on the end here we have the JetBeam. This is their E26 model. Now of course, as you can see, all these flashlights have one thing in common. They're all relatively flat. Alright, this is a craze that I kind of got into a little while back. I like these flat flashlights, as I call them. Just kind of easy to carry. I mean, obviously a traditional flashlight is cylindrical, and sometimes, you know, if you don't have a sheath or anything, if it's clipped to the pocket, it could be a little bit cumbersome, but these flat model flashlights are becoming quite popular. So first I just want to go over the high output on these flashlights as well as their price. This is the current market price as of the filming of this video. Of course, the prices will change with time and depending on where you're buying them from. But as of current, these are all prices from Amazon. So first, the ThruNite Defender. This has a high output of 1600 lumens and currently sells for $74.99. The Workhos model here, again, it's an HD01 UV. Currently sells for $59.99 and has a high output of 1200 lumens. The Olight Arcfeld. This has a price tag of $89.99 and has a high output of 1000 lumens. And on the end, the JetBeam E26 has a price tag of $82.64 and has a high output of 1800 lumens. So I'm going to briefly go over each flashlight and how it works. So starting here with the ThruNite Defender, you can see we have a mode select switch and a button on the side. Alright, so what you want to do is you can push the button to turn it on, but right now we are in the lockout mode. Alright, so nothing's going to happen. So I'm going to switch over to the light mode. You turn it on. I'm going to show you that battery indicator mode a little better here. So once you turn it on, you can see it'll show. Right now we have 75% power. Alright, you push and hold to change the mode. So it's going to cycle. You have low, medium, high. You double click to go into turbo mode. Again, that's going to be the full 1600 lumens. Alright, once the light is on, you can also switch over to the next mode here, which is the green laser. Alright, so we have a laser pointer here. Fantastic for business use if you need to have a presentation or something, but a lot of people probably use this to play with their pets, you know, have their cat or dog chase it around the house. But super helpful. And then all the way on the right here, the last mode is the UV mode. And on the ThruNite Defender here, it is a very powerful UV. This is fantastic for looking at all kinds of pet stains. If you're traveling in the hotel or anywhere, you can see, you know, different things. If you're hunting, you can you know, follow a blood trail like this. There's a lot of different ways you can use UV light, even in money counterfeiting, right? If you want to detect a counterfeit bill, you can use UV light. So very, very cool. All right. And again, while it's on, you can switch between the modes: UV, LED, or laser, and then our light mode and lockout mode. All right, which obviously shuts the light off. And the last mode I want to show on the Defender, of course, is the strobe function. All right, so whether the light is on or off, as long as it's in the light mode here, you do a triple click for strobe. All right, very important function in flashlights for me personally, so I did want to mention that as well. On the front, you can see there's two different heads here, as well as the lasers coming out of that middle hole. And we do have a magnetic bottom, which is very convenient for hands-free lighting. All right, sleek little design, some ridges on both sides, so it's just easy to hold. Our charging port is on the side here as well, all right, which is USB-C for fast charging. Very easy to put back. We have a long two-position pocket clip. Okay, so you can use it in either position. This is also removable with some screws if you did want to take it off. So next up we have the Workhos light. All right, again, this is the HD01 UV. This has a secondary function with an RGB, which just basically has different types of color options. I'm just going to go over the regular light functions for the purpose of this video. We hit the top button. All right, you can see we have the light. Same thing where we have a dual head, two different LEDs on the head. So push to turn the light on, push down to hold to cycle, and low, medium, and high. All right, double click for that turbo mode, and you can triple click for the strobe. Okay, very simple light. Now this Workhos flashlight does also have a UV LED, so once it's on, if you hit the bottom button here, it does switch over to that mode, all right, which is very nice. Now, even though there's no symbol here, the bottom is also magnetic. All right, so you can stick this to anything that is going to accept that. We do have a 2-position clip as well on here, which is also removable with 3 screws. And the charging port is also on the side. This one is also USB-C. All right, very cool light. All right, so next up we have the Olight Arcfeld. Okay, this is similar to the ThruNite in that we have a rotating bezel. In this case, we have 2 different functions. They do have other models with multiple functions, but this one just has the light mode and the LED. All right, so we're going to push the button on the side to turn it on. Right now it's in light mode. Push and hold to change the output. Again, low, medium, high. And if I switch it to the other side, we have the laser pointer. All right, so same thing, we have a green laser pointer, which could be super useful and fun. All right, this one has a magnetic bottom as well, which also is for our charging. It goes from the magnetic piece on the bottom to a USB. This does have a removable clip on the back, but it is only one direction. That is the Arcfeld. All right, so last up here is the JetBeam E26. Very similar in that we have a rotating bezel as well. So starting off, we have the lockout mode. Next to that is going to be our light mode. Let's turn it on here. All right, and by the way, this also has a dual head. So you turn the light mode on, push and hold, and again, it's going to cycle through low, medium, high, and turbo. Then the next mode is going to be our UV light, okay, which is fairly powerful. And then on the end here is going to be our laser pointer, okay. So similar functions as the other lights. What sets this one apart is that as long as it's not in the lockout mode, it could be in any 3 of these modes, there's a dedicated button on the back that puts the highest light output on. All right, kind of a cool feature, just to have a quick go-to, again, as long as it's not on the lockout function. All right, this one also has some side ribbing, so it's easy to hold in that position. This has one giant pocket clip, but it's only one direction, but it is removable with some screws. And we do have the charging port on the side, which is Type-C, so it's fast charging. The problem, if you notice, though, is that there is no protection, no rubber cover to speak of. So it's just kind of open to the elements, which I'm not a huge fan of. So that is the JetBeam E26. All right, so the most important part, let's get outside and see what these things look like in action. All right, first up is the ThruNite Defender. So we're going to go up, down, left and right. Do that for all the flashlights, just so you can compare them to each other. All right, next up is the Workhose. Same thing. Left and right. And next up is the Olight. And just a reference, I'm filming about 50 feet or so from this shed. And last up is the JetBeam. All right, so now that you've seen these lights in action, let's talk about overall how I feel about these. I think all 4 are good quality lights. The ThruNite Defender is one of the brightest, again, at 1600 lumens. The only one brighter on the table is the JetBeam. That's 1800 lumens. The price for the Defender is $74.99. The price of the JetBeam is $82.64. So they're pretty close in competition. They also both have very similar functions in that they have the rotating bezel. The one thing I do like about the JetBeam is that dedicated switch on the back. I think that's super cool, but unfortunately for me, the whole thing is ruined by having this open port. I do not like that at all. I mean, so far I've had no issues with it, but I haven't used it out in the rain or the elements. I really feel like that's gonna be a problem if you get dirt or something packed in there. So unfortunately, that's a no-go for me. The Workhose and the Olight, fantastic lights. Again, a little more expensive. The Arcfeld coming in at $89.99 for just 1,000 lumens, but it's a perfectly fine flashlight. The Workhose kind of has more features, but I do like the rotating bezel we'll see in all 3 of these models. I much prefer that over the buttons, but this does also have the RGB, which I didn't show in this video, so it has a bunch of bells and whistles, but I just prefer this format. So for me, the ThruNite Defender is the best value personally, and then next would be the Arcfeld. So those are my opinions. You let me know in the comment section what your opinions are. If you're new to this channel, there's free giveaways for products from ThruNite all the time. All you have to do to enter is comment on these videos and subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.